Welcome into the pre-race. Oh, do I have a low? Hang on. All right, we're back. Hopefully that worked. All right, welcome into the pre-race poll, everybody. Your favorite pre-race show. We're gonna talk everything Richmond today. Interesting race we have today. No practice in qualifying is a real bummer. I really wish we had practice in qualifying. It makes me real bored in the morning, but I still think there's some opportunities. I don't know that's necessarily going to be before the race, but certainly live. That's where we're going to be looking. We're going to be talking about some live strategy. Is my camera not working? What do you mean no camera? You can't see me? Kyle, you can't see me? Is that what I'm understanding? You got me? We good? Derek, are you watching? Can you confirm everything okay here? All right, well, finally time. Let's go. Brett, you were at the race yet, Brett? You were at the race yesterday. Okay, cool. Everything's good. All right. Yeah, sorry. I just had to connect. It looks like I have low internet here. Connection is unstable. If you're on Wi-Fi, try plugging in the router. I am plugged into the router is what it's telling me. But all right, well, let's get into it here. Let's start with a poll, by the way. A little blurry and choppy on your end. Yeah, that sucks. That's bad. People will not stay and watch a blurry, choppy video. So hopefully it gets better. I just plugged it in. Okay. Well, anyway, let's get going with the poll here. What's everybody drinking today? I have an orange blossom. Here you go. Orange blossom. Well, hey, happy race day, everybody. Bum we didn't have practice in qualifying, but either way, still a great day. Cheers. And let's take a poll. Awesome. All right. Well, so let's start with story time. Story time with Worm here. So without practice in qualifying, my morning was a little slower than normal. Obviously, I based a lot of my bets off practice in qualifying, and the fact we didn't have it means I didn't have many bets to get out today. I just am trying to, be diligent and not make silly mistakes, just trying to force bets. So I went to the pool and I was reading and at my complex here in Scottsdale, and I was reading and I overheard the guys behind me talking about how they had to get their NASCAR bets in for the day. Boy, were they shocked when I walked over and told them what I did for a living. Kind of funny, but they pointed out a great bet. And usually when I talk to people about betting NASCAR, especially these two guys that I know that they come more from the golf industry, did not know much about NASCAR, but they brought up a great bet. So on FanDuel, apparently there is a boosted bet. And I don't play boosted bets often, but Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson to finish in the top 10 is 2-1. Take that bet. That is a really good bet. So shout out to Danny and Colton for pointing out that that's a good bet. I don't like to give out bets on here, but I mean, $50 max bet. I would go ahead and max that one. I think both of those guys are going to finish in the top 10. I think that Kyle Busch has a better chance of finishing the top 10 than Kyle Larson. But if you're going to get 2-1, I mean, one of them is going to finish in the top 10 for sure. So then you're 2-1 on the other one to get finished in the top 10. So I like that play. I don't know if it's still around, but kind of a funny story to have a couple guys that, you wouldn't think were betting on NASCAR or anyone that really, I'm really shocked when someone's betting on NASCAR. So, yeah, I like that bet. So let's do a little rundown here. We're just going to start with Bowman, starting on the pole. Ooh, I mean, I think Bowman's going to be good. Let's talk about his finishes. Let's just go. He's 5th, 8th, 3rd, 9th, 14th, and 3rd, and had a chance to win at COTA. I think, okay, plus 150 now. I still don't think that's a terrible bet. Alex Bowman, he's won here before. And here's the thing with Bowman. He's going to have that first pit stall. He might fade early. He usually makes good adjustments on his car. And by the end of the race, he's there. And you know what? If Alex Bowman is there, like I say all the time, some people call him a hack. I call him clutch because he likes to win races at the end. So if you find himself in a late race restart, I think he could easily win this race. I have not played him. I know that he's kind of hovering like 16 or 18-1 range. If you don't have a chance to bet him live, maybe nibble there, but I'm I'm going to wait till live. I'm not quite sure who's going to win the race or who's going to, I guess, unload well today. So moving on to Kyle Busch. Can Kyle Busch win this race? Yes, Kyle Busch can win today. Now, he hasn't looked as fast recently. And by recently, I just mean at every race other than Fontana. I guess my expectations are so high from him week in and week out. And it's like, yes, I know he had a chance to win at COTA, but let's be realistic. He was not nearly as fast as those other two guys up front. So William Byron and Tyler Reddick were way faster than Kyle Busch. I think just talent-wise, I don't think his car is where it needs to be, but he was able to just kind of stay up front and get a great finish. I think he's going to kind of do the same today. If he does catch a good adjustment or he just unloads fast, look out. He's a guy that could really go out there and step it out and conserve his stuff when we get out front. I had a conversation with Derek Yoder. We always do a pre-race poll where we kind of just bounce ideas off each other. And, we were discussing that although we think there's a chance that Kevin Harvick over the super long run could be really good. I don't imagine him firing off super fast. But there's a few guys that if they get out front, they're really good at conserving their stuff and could save it to actually kind of compete with Harvick in the long run. And that's Kyle Busch. The other one would be Denny Hamlin. If Kyle Busch gets out to a 1 or 2 second lead, he could get up there and kind of just save his stuff. And so that way when Harvick does come after 60 or 70 laps of a green flag run, he can actually kind of hold him off and maybe even step it out on him even. So William Byron, I mean, who knows? I imagine he's going to be great. Like he always is. Track history, not that good. Ran well last spring, but everyone you just kind of stayed in order. Like wherever you kind of qualified, it's kind of where you ran last year. So the spring race was, I thought, terrible. I'm hoping we don't have that. I thought that the fall race was much better, but I don't know. I mean, William Byron, would I be shocked if he won? No. Would I be shocked if he ran 15th? No, not really. Not really at all. So just not quite sure. I think I'm not high on Ross Chastain. This is the first time I'm not really high on him, I don't think he's been that impressive at this track. He usually runs better than his finishes here. He was struggled in both races here last year. I know that he had like probably a top 10-ish car at Phoenix. Not great. Obviously he had a terrible actual finish, but realistically he wasn't that great in Phoenix, which would be a comp track. I just think with that same, it is a comp track, but it's also very different. The line that you can run at Phoenix, I think Harvick has a bigger advantage in Phoenix than he does at Richmond. But I'm just not super high on Chastain. Same with Tyler Reddick. I'm not high on him. I think he could run well, but is he going to be able to save his stuff 40, 50, 60 laps into a run? And we're not even going to find that out until the second stage because competition caution lap 30, then what? They're going to go another 45 laps and then have another caution. So we're not even going to see what happens in a really, really long run with these cars until stages 2 or 3. So, you're going to have to kind of take your time when it comes to these live bets, figure out who really is good on the long run and who's good on the short run. We'll have a really good idea who's good on the short run for sure. But do they have the longevity? We're not going to be sure until we see, stage 2 would be my guess. Or maybe the end of stage 1, we might see that. Austin Cindric, another guy I'm not super high on. He loves to fall off and finish 20th after a good starting spot. So this is another good starting spot for him. I think he tweeted that it's like 30 spots better than he thought he would qualify. Chris Buescher, man, he doesn't qualify well at these tracks and usually picks up spots. So I actually think that Buescher will kind of sustain. I think he's going to kind of have a top 10 run today. I have not bet that. I know that everything I say here, I have to be careful. People just run and bet it. So I do expect Buescher to be decent, but then again, who we ultimately don't know because we haven't seen practice and qualifying. Ricky Stenhouse, this is the best qualifying he was ever going to have. There was no way he was going to qualify in the top 10. So he had, thanking his lucky stars that practice and qualifying got rained out. I expect him to fade off the map as soon as the green flag waves. Kyle Larson, I feel like he would have qualified better than this. 9th is not a great qualifying for him, so I'm pretty sure he would have done better. Is he going to be good? Yeah, of course he's going to be good. For certainly short run. Can he hang on to it in the long run? Yes, he's won here in the past, and I think he could certainly win again today, but it's just a matter of will he be able to manage his tires well enough on the long run? The very opposite would be Kevin Harvick. I don't think he's going to be good on the short run, but 20, 30 laps into a run, I certainly expect him to be to be fast. What up, Ryan? How's it going? Yeah, I think Kyle Larson's the opposite of Kevin Harvick. I expect Larson to pick up spots early, and I expect early in a run, and I expect Harvick to pick up spots late in a run. And I just don't like that Kevin Harvick price. I mean, are you kidding me? He's the favorite plus 650? I don't think so, man. I mean, I know he was really good at Phoenix, but Phoenix, although it's a comp track, it is so different. The lines that you can run at Phoenix are just entirely different. I don't think he'll be able to Harvick his way around the track this week. Denny Hamlin, he could win. Yes, Denny Hamlin can win at Richmond. I know. I'm just saying, just remarkably shocking things today. But yeah, Denny Hamlin could be good. I haven't seen the speed out of the Toyotas other than, last week with Reddick, but that's just a different deal. Yeah, Ryan, if you were on time, I wouldn't have to revisit Kyle Busch. Yes, I think Kyle Busch is going to be good today. If I had to, I'm not going to give away my pick, but he might be it. I actually post when these things go. You probably missed the pre-race poll, so I'm going to do another one real quick because I love you, Ryan. But hey, Denny Hamlin could be good. I'm not sold. I think if you were to take two guys, if you were to just take two guys that you think just have good history here and that can win based on their price, I would say Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin would be those guys. Is that fair enough? Martin Truex Jr., just haven't seen enough speed out of him. When he was really good, when he's been good in the past here at Richmond, he's also been good at Phoenix. He wasn't that good at Phoenix this year. What did he finish? 17th at Phoenix? That's no good. So I am not high on Truex, although I wouldn't be shocked. Truex went out there and won the race. He could. David Gilliland, no. Ty Gibbs, I mean, this 14 starting spot, I feel like is a gift. I do not expect him to run well. He's terrible at high tire wear tracks. He's still so young. I mean, last week, 3 times he had to go through and do pass-through penalties from going off the track. I mean, you fool me once, right? So, of course I had him in matchups. He barely beat Raikkonen. Thank goodness. I would have been pissed. Michael McDowell, he's, I never know. I think him and I think Corey LaJoie, we talk about them together. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if they had decent race cars, if they were able to pick up some spots. I think LaJoie probably not going to finish 16th. McDowell, I doubt he's going to work his way up, but they could kind of sustain. I feel like for them, that's not a bad finishing spot for either one of those guys. Ryan Blaney, he's going to be interesting. I think both Blaney and Logano are interesting guys. Blaney usually does not run well when he doesn't start up front. And he's not great at high tire wear tracks. I am not high on Ryan Blaney. I know that Jacob was asking about him earlier. I'm not super high on Blaney. I could be wrong. Let me say that again. I could be wrong. Doubt it. But I just don't think he's going to drive up through the field. If he does, let's just say the Penske's are good. Do you think it's going to be Ryan Blaney that drives to the field or Joey Logano? Yeah, I think we both agree. We would all agree that Joey Logano is a better driver at Richmond than Ryan Blaney. Can we all agree with that? Yeah. Okay, good. So I think if you're high on Blaney, it's impossible not to be high on Logano. But I do think that Logano could be good at Blaney would be bad. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. If Blaney's good, Logano will be good. If Logano's good, it does not mean that Blaney's going to be good. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Chase Briscoe, show me something, buddy. I mean, here we are thinking you had a chance to make the Final Four, and you just been kind of an afterthought. And every good finish you've had has kind of been like just a backdoor, good, decent finish. So not high on him. Daniel Suarez, also not high on him either. Not great at Phoenix. Hard to fade, though, that guy. He's kind of got my number. Betting on him or against him, he's kind of one of those guys. On him or against him. He's like Eric Almirola. If I bet on him, oh boy, Skybox. I knew he was going to do this. Skybox, you want a little friendly Martin Truex versus Kyle Busch? Any takers? Chris Bell, starting 21st. AI, artificial intelligence. He just gets smarter and smarter throughout the race. Bell will be there. I don't like his price at 7-1 because, I mean, he's got a little bit of a ways to go. I think you're going to look to I think, yeah, Kyle, I mean, I don't know if it's for sure Seabell, but certainly wouldn't be shocked. I mean, what he did last fall was really impressive. What he did at Loudon was impressive. Not overly good at Phoenix, but certainly serviceable. Really terrible finish for him last week. Kind of, I mean, running pretty well all day and then just getting caught and that shit at the end. No fun. So, yeah, Chris Bell could be good. I'm not going to get involved at 7-1, especially when I have access live. And I certainly think, remember, if Kyle Busch goes to the lead and kind of runs away with the stage 1 and stage 2, his odds are going to crash, and you're going to have a chance to pick up other guys at inflated odds. Eric Jones, not really good at these tracks. I used to think he was, but his finishes have been atrocious. If you look at the last 2 Richmond races and then Phoenix of this year, I mean, real bad. Let's look. I have this pulled up here. Nope, that's not it. That's wrong. No, wait, hang on. I'm looking at Eric Jones. Who? Eric Jones. Average starting spot of 8th and finished 26th. Not good. Not good. Not high on Eric Jones. Now, can he horse a race car? Yeah. I mean, he'll get as much out of that race car as he can get. That's for sure. Noah Gragson, another amazing starting spot. He's going to fade. I can't imagine Gragson being good. There's no chance he finishes better than where he started. He's just been bad this year. Now, I think he'll eventually be good. But, down the line, I think he can contend for championships down the line, but he's just not there yet. Brad Keselowski, I think he's kind of wishing that they had qualifying because I think he would have qualified better than this. And for whatever reason, he ran well at Phoenix. Obviously, he's been really good at Richmond in the past, in both the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. He knows how to conserve his tires. He's a great driver. I would put him in the wheelman category. I don't know. I haven't really seen much. I haven't seen much out of him to go win the race, but certainly maybe matchups, top 5s, top 10s. I don't think that's a bad idea for Brad Keselowski. I just trust him. There's just drivers you trust, and Brad is one of those guys. Speaking of guys you don't trust, is AJ Allmendinger. I don't know. Sometimes Dinger's really good at high wear tracks. Other times it's like, is he even on the lead lap? I don't know. Mitch said, can parlay Logano over Blaney, like it, and Cindric over Ty Gibbs for plus 213. Yeah. My only thing about that is oh, man. Mitch, you're not wrong, but I just don't trust Cindric. There's a chance that Cindric could not be a lead lap driver. I don't know. Cindric scares me. I do like Logano over Blaney. I'll say that. In theory, I like Cindric over Ty. I just would not want to have, maybe you single Logano and Blaney and for a unit and then go half a unit on this parlay. I just don't trust Cindric. And I certainly don't want you to lose money if you bet on Logano over Blaney. You don't want to lose money. So that would be my advice there. Maybe go a unit and a half, go 1 full unit on the Logano Blaney, and then a half a unit on the, if that makes sense. Yeah, Cindric he'll win a race, but it's going to be on a low tire wear, faster 1.5-mile track if he wins. I mean, I know he won the Daytona 500, but anybody can win that, right? Let's see where we at. Harrison Burton, pass. I mean, I don't know, wherever Harrison's going to finish. Not good. Austin Dillon's an interesting one because, man, in 2020, he was the fastest car. Wasn't he? In 2020 in the night race? Austin Dillon drove to the front and then went to the rear and then drove back to the front. This is a good track for him. Austin Dillon really is a talented driver on high tire wear tracks. Look at Homestead. I don't know if Darlington is necessarily his cup of tea, but I certainly think that this track, he could be there. By be there, I mean in the top 10. Okay. Be there for Kyle Larson and Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin. That means win the race. Be there for Austin Dillon means maybe a top 10. That's for sure. Bubba Wallace. Bubba, your comments last week, not good, bud. Not good. No confidence at a track where he's not historically good. I think he's just going to try to get a solid finish. I think a top 15 for him would be pretty good. I don't think top 10's in the mix at all. Justin Haley. This is a Justin Haley kind of track. I just haven't seen much from Colleague. Colleague's just not where they were. like last year. Justin Haley was kind of mixing up every now and then, and you had Dinger last year, obviously in road courses there. Like obviously he was good this year too, but not as good as years past. So I just think colleagues maybe a step behind where they were last year relative to the field, and I don't think that they've necessarily taken a step back. I just think that the field has gotten better. Josh Berry, man, he was really good on the long run yesterday. If he just has not shown me anything in the Cup car, and I don't know if it's too easy to drive. I think that's probably it. Josh Berry needs those tires to wear out. He needs to be slipping and sliding around. He needs guys complaining about grip, and that's when he gets to be like a kind of a top tier driver. Cody Ware, no. Eric Almirola, you'd think he'd be good here, but I don't touch Eric Almirola anymore. He's let me down too many times when I bet on him, against him. He's just my kryptonite. It doesn't matter what I say. If I think he's going to be good, he sucks. If I think he's going to suck, he's going to be good. So I don't know. If I say he's going to be average, what does that mean? I don't even know. You got me. Ryan Preece. Oh, Ryan's figured out how to get decent finishes out of bad cars. And that kind of, that hurts. It's hard to bet against the guy that's just like happy with finishing better than where his car should, if that makes sense. And that's just kind of what he does. I don't know, but kind of a disappointing start to the season. This is kind of a Ryan Preece type track, I guess, if you're to say something. So not quite sure, but I starting 33rd, not going to be easy. Let's see. JJ Yaley, no. Anthony Alfredo, no. Ty Dillon, no. Chandler Smith. Is he talented? What do we? He was pretty good yesterday. He has a matchup. I'm going to talk about this. Let me find this matchup here. This is an on-screen matchup, so usually with local bookies. He is matched up with, he's a betting favorite over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in his first Cup race in a colored car. How in the hell does he beat Ricky Stenhouse? I just don't know. I haven't bet this, but Ricky Stenhouse is starting 8th. So let's think about this. Stage one, you have a comp caution at 35. Chandler Smith's not going to go a lap down that 35 laps. He is probably going to pass Ty Dillon, Anthony Alfredo, JJ Yaley, and Cody Ware. But man, I just cannot believe that matchup. Am I the only one that's shocked by that? Like Ricky Stenhouse? Like, you're kidding me. Like, he's starting 8th. That's embarrassing for Ricky, to be honest. Like, the sports books give him 0 credit. That's shocking. What do you guys think? Come on, give me some comments on Chandler Smith versus Chandler Smith is starting dead last in his first Cup race. And now, albeit in decent equipment. And you have Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who's been in the series for who knows how long, and is starting 8th. Knowing Ricky Spinhouse. I know. I just don't trust Ricky. Isn't it weird we trust Chandler Smith more than Ricky Stenhouse? That's nuts to me. And you know what? You'd fade who? Come on, Kyle. Who would you fade in a matchup? You'd fade Ricky in a matchup? Oh, versus you. Oh, versus me. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. Chandler just showed us something yesterday. We might have some recency bias going on, but man, I don't know. All right, what do you guys got for questions? That's kind of the rundown. I really have not played much at all. I have those top 10s that I gave out on the Stay Green podcast. And then I have an outright that I played earlier in the week, but I didn't beat the market on that. So I don't know. What do you guys got for questions? Maybe you guys can talk me into a bet. I would love that. If someone could talk me into a bet. Can anyone do that? I like Logano over Blaney. But I don't know. Bob, have any news for us? In the early running for worst bet of 23. Bell and Reddick both top 5. Plus 550. Ooh, yeah, I don't like that. That's gross. Brad K plus 110 over Suarez. All right, Jacob. Now we're talking. I mean, I think Brad K beats him. How about that? I mean, I'm not going to bet it because I don't know. I'm very risk averse. I only like bets that my goal is to bet as much as I can without losing a bet. And I think that bet could lose. And I know you're still getting that plus 110, but I think he beats him. I mean, I think he beats him. Manufacturer bets are really tough this week without practice and qualifying. You know, I think that, so I'm going to think through this out loud. If the Chevys are good, like Kyle Busch is going to be good. And so is Larson. Okay. And then if the Toyotas are good, it's going to be Hamlin and Truex. If the Fords are going to be good, it's going to be Logano and Harvick. I just think you're better off taking those guys. Does that make sense? Because the payouts are higher versus taking Chevy at minus whatever they are. I haven't even looked. I don't play manufacturer bets very often, but does that make sense? Like, I just can't see Ford being good and Blaney being the best Ford. I can't see, if the Chevys are good, I can't see Ross Chastain being, well, okay, maybe not Chastain. Chastain, I guess, could be good. I doubt it. But, like, I can't imagine if the Fords are good, Chase Briscoe's the best Ford. If the Toyotas are good, I can't imagine Tyler Reddick's the best Toyota. And I know I said that last week, but I think that there's just a clear difference in Tyler Reddick's ability on a road course versus everybody else. If the Chevys are good, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that could be good if the Chevys are good. We'll say that. Bowman, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Ross Chastain. Those guys could all be good. Yeah, just fire outrights live, Kyle. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Dylan over Jones is your best bet. Yeah, but think about that. Let's and Ryan I'll discuss Dylan here. Your best bet, you're relying on Austin Dillon. That's where we're at. Man, I mean, I think you're right, but Eric Jones won the Southern 500. He's not a hack. I mean, he seems like he's a hack on this track. You know what I mean? Your best bet's on Austin Dillon? I don't know. It just sounds like it shouldn't be true. I don't know. But I think you guys are right. I think that you guys, if you're, based on what we've talked about, I like what Jacob's talking about, Brad K over Suarez. I think that's smart. Yeah, Mitch, look, these are some informed people that are talking here. Like, Mitch, yeah, that's a terrible bet. Like, Reddick, I don't think Reddick finishes in the top 5. Dillon top 10. I like Dillon top 10 almost more than I like Dillon over Jones, just because you're going to get the payout on Dillon. Does that make sense? Like, your risk and reward are matched up a little bit better. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let's just do a post poll here, mainly because I just want another sip. But KFB over Harvick. Yeah. Harvick is overvalued as hell, in my opinion. I mean, but he could go out there and win. But I think he needs a certain scenario. If it's a bunch of short runs, Harvick doesn't have a chance. I mean, when was Harvick good on the short run last? Never. And he's not even good on restarts anymore. Harvick, even when he was like, there was a time when he was just the fastest thing. So he was just good all the time. Like, 2019, 2020 there for a little bit, he was just a rocket. But I mean, even when it was like him and Johnson going back and forth, like, he loved to lose on restarts. So if there's a lot of restarts, I don't see Harvick gaining spots on restarts. If this turns into a long green flag thing, which is what happens with this car, like, this car has, so much contact with the racing surface that it's just hard to lose handling. So we don't see cautions. We see a lot of long runs, and that's where Harvick's really good. So, yeah, let's do a post race poll here, and thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, and taking a poll. Oh, Rory, you just show up, Rory? Well, have a little sip. All right. See you, everybody.